Welcome to Desert Giant Gaming. This is Jake here with my review of Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. So, in Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, you play as Chloe Fraser and with the sidekick Nadine. I can't remember her last name, but Nadine goes along with you during this adventure. You're pretty much the person you're searching for the Tusk of Ganesh. Your father, Chloe's father, throughout his life was searching for the Tusk of Ganesh, and that's a little bit of a through line throughout the whole story. It kind of wraps up a bit later. I'm not going to ruin that for anyone, but so she's pretty much she is Indian Australian and is Tusk of Ganesh is an Indian artifact. So she's searching for this artifact that her father spent his whole life looking for. And you bring along Nadine, who's a villain in Uncharted 4. Chloe, if you don't remember from Uncharted 2 and 3, was a love interest and of Nate's, and she kind of came along and helped on most of 2 and 3. She has some appearances, but she was more of a bigger character in 2. Overall, I like their narrative together. It kind of started up as just business partners, kind of move along, have some back and forth at certain times, kind of have a weird, awkward relationship in I think the third chapter. You're driving in the car and you're trying to make small talk, and it's a little awkward at times, which is kind of funny because these two people that don't know each other very well need each other at this point, and they're kind of just trying to make this enjoyable. And that's one thing I like about this game. It's a little banter you get while you're just driving the car around. Is just you get a little nitty things. They call back to Nathan Drake, how Chloe dated Nate, and it's just kind of funny little banter. It kind of keeps it real and keeps it authentic. It just feels natural, which is what Naughty Dog does best. They do the best those little tiny things like that to make this story really feel believable, and that's what they're good at. They're good at just tying a narrative. Overall, the main villain in the game, Asav, they really don't build his character very much in the beginning. You just find out, well, you're searching for Nadine in the beginning. You don't know that. The trailer they released originally, you're kind of searching. You meet up with her. She takes the cloak off, and you realize that you're playing as Chloe. That whole part of the game, you're Chloe. They added that in. That's just for the trailer, which is kind of cool. So yeah, you meet up with Nadine. You're trying to steal something from someone, and then Asav comes in and catches you before you steal it. And then that starts off his real beef with you. You kind of realize that you're both searching for the same thing, and you're going to try to beat him to it. So that's his main motive for trying to take you out, is he knows you're trying to go for the same thing he is. At least that's what I got from it. So as you go, you travel towards the almost like a tropical rainforest type climate area of India. It's not really clear exactly where you are, but and it's actually pretty open world. I know in Uncharted 4 there was kind of an open-ish area in that game as well, down in Madagascar. If you haven't played that, I'm sorry, but there's a part where you're in Madagascar. You're driving a Jeep around. There's a lot of similar things like that. The winch to get to certain areas and whatnot. This seems a little more open than that in terms of like you literally get a map, and there's no mini map, which is really nice. It's just you literally open a map, and that's how you navigate. Trying to keep opening, closing while you're driving around to make sure you get to where you're trying to go. There's little marks on the map that you mark yourself that Chloe writes in, which I thought was kind of a cool touch. It keeps it more authentic, like you're really searching for something. But as opposed to Uncharted 4, it seems a little more open world. You have a little more exploration to do. The other one's a little more linear. If I'm remembering correct, it was a little more linear. And that's one thing where this game takes away from this game. And I've heard a lot of people talk about this as well, is that it's very, very similar in terms of the gameplay mechanics and whatnot of 4. They literally just took the engine, used it again, which is understandable. They're trying to make a DLC for the game, which is what it is, and that's what it feels like. It feels like DLC as opposed to a 6 to 8 hour standalone game, which is the typical length for a story arc. I mean, Uncharted games usually run around the 10, 12, 13 hours. 4 was 17 hours, that was a long trudge through that game, but that's a whole different story. But yeah, the open world part of the game is really interesting. Then you get back to the linear side where you're not as not even literally expansive. It's you go from point A to point B to point C to point D kind of thing. to get through the rest of the story. I thought the puzzles in this game were really good. In terms of once you get to the linear section, most of the times, even some of the even in the open world was like button puzzles where you just got to go find these buttons. Wasn't that crazy? But the one I really liked was this you had to move these statues around later in the game when you're getting close to the tusk. Obviously, you're gonna get close to it. I'm not spoiling anything for you. You know that you're gonna get close to the tusk, but as you get close to the tusk, you move these statues around to kind of create silhouettes, and it's actually really cool. It took me a little bit longer than I wanted to figure it out, but once I figured it out, like, okay, no, I have all the pieces in the right spot, but I need to flip these two, and trying to flip those around was kind of cool. I thought it was really fun, interesting puzzle. Some of the other ones were forgettable, but that one specifically stuck with me. So yeah, you're going through, you're uncovering different things of the past, and it's an interesting story throughout the end. Overall, this plays like a regular Uncharted game. Uncharted 4, it's literally Uncharted 4's engine brought into another game. So the gameplay, the gun shooting, everything is what you expect from the rest of the series, which is always enjoyable, but not groundbreaking in terms of tight twitch shooters like other games. I mean, even the online, which is actually one I loved when I think it was Uncharted 2 was the first one with online. I really enjoyed the online for that game. And the one thing I actually missed that they got rid of in 4 and this from, I think it was 3 or 2 they added it in, was the ability to chuck grenades back. I think that was annoying in the single player, but it also was really more annoying in the multiplayer. The multiplayer was a fun little mechanic. You could really mess with people with that, and I thought it was really a missed thing from the multiplayer side. Multiplayer has a lot of levels from the game. You can customize things. If you played any of the other Uncharted online, it's very similar. Very just open maps where you can climb on things, cover, swing from one area to the next area. There's a progression system. I haven't played too much of it, but I did dabble in it a little bit. And one thing that's nice is they don't shoehorn you into only playing with people on Lost Legacy. I'm almost certain because I leveled up in 4, and then when I went on Lost Legacy, my level was already higher. So yeah, it ties in with 4, which is nice. So you don't even need to have 4 downloaded on your console anymore, which was a huge install. So it kind of saves you that memory, and you can also still play the full online if that's what you care to choose to play. I know the server's a little bare. I was playing it early in the morning, but it wasn't super populated. But it's fun, enjoyable, and it is what it is. So a little warning, I'm going to get a little spoilery here when talking about Asav and his plot line. So overall, I don't really care for Asav. He's very one-dimensional, very angry person. Doesn't really, he's very much just, he wants to be a revolutionary. He wants to cleanse this area and bring up a new group of people. And that's what he wants to tusk for. But what he wants to tusk for is, which is kind of odd why he wants to do it. I thought he wanted it as a symbol to gain power. But no, he literally just wants to sell it to get a bomb. And all the money he's putting in just to get the people to go get the tusk, I feel like he probably could have acquired a similar bomb. I just don't feel like the amount of effort he put in just to get this tusk, like the men he lost, everything that happened, just to get this, was worth just getting a bomb. I mean, you could just bought a bomb with that, probably multiple bombs, maybe. The tusk he probably should have bought a lot more. But there's one bomb, and I'm pretty sure he said it would kill thousands, or a few thousand. I'm not sure how, based on the explosion you do see at the end of the game. I'm not going to explain how it happens or whatnot. That's kind of important, but it's not very large. It would do some damage, yeah, but it wasn't like it was a nuke. It wasn't like it was gonna. It just, that thread bothered me personally, just because it didn't make much sense. I really wanted there to be more motivation behind him. He seemed just not super interesting in that way. I wanted him to have better motivations, more I don't know. I didn't care for him as a villain. That's why the end of the game kind of dragged for me a little bit. Overall, though, the game is very enjoyable. I love and I'm pretty sure I said this before, but I love their banter back and forth. Oh, my hair, their banter back and forth is really fun throughout the game, and them developing. Eventually, again, this is spoilery, but you do meet Sam Drake, voiced by You do meet Sam Drake at the end of the game. He apparently is working on the inside with the Sav to try to deter him and be his expert. And he's actually working with Chloe, which causes a rift between Chloe and Nadine, which is a really, again, a kind of interesting little thing going on, because they're business partners. They're not friends. They're business partners, and it kind of has them grow at the end, which is really nice. Overall, I enjoyed Uncharted 4, Uncharted 4: The Lost Legacy. I really enjoyed Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. It was a fun little story. I love that universe in general, and getting more of those characters, more of Sam. It's not what I thought it was going to happen with Sam, especially at the end of 4. You really thought it was going to be Sully Sam kind of thing was going to happen. No Sully, unfortunately, as much as everyone loves Sully. But it still leaves it open for the future. Nate's story is done, but doesn't mean Sam, Sully, and if you didn't play 4, I don't know why you're watching this, but his daughter. If his daughter gets older, wants to join the venturing business, if she sees all those things that her father has and whatnot, maybe she wants to do it herself too, which would be kind of interesting. So that's a lot of people have up in the air. Who knows? I love to see Naughty Dog moved on to a new IP. Last of Us Part 2 looks interesting so far. Last of Us 1 was phenomenal, and you can see what they can do with this kind of gameplay and still do that kind of game, like what kind of things can do with that, can do in this genre. It's just awesome. So thanks for watching. Like and subscribe below if you, or after this, there should be little buttons here and whatnot. We really appreciate your viewership and your subscribing so we can grow and whatnot. Thanks for watching. See you next one. Thank you.